Hi, I'm Sean Parsons, and I'm running for Athens City School Board. A question that I've been hearing from people lately is some variation on what the heck is going on. If you haven't had time to follow the school board meetings, Facebook threads, newspaper articles, and overheard coffee shop conversations, I'm going to try and get you up to speed. If you want an even more brief synopsis, I'm also sharing a timeline of events that you can glance over. So back in May of 2016, there were several community meetings held in the cafeteria at Athens High School. During these, a whole bunch of people in the community stood up to talk with the school board about their concerns about the district. At the second meeting, school board member Rusty Rittenhouse stood up and said that he was going to try and propose to put together a sort of working group to look at the issues of the district and to develop a plan. This group became what most people refer to as the steering committee. The board decided to appoint several people to this group, requested a representative from Ohio University, Mayor Patterson, teachers and administrators, as well as having each school select their own representatives. The meetings were led by the Athens Foundation. This group met starting from September all of the way into March. There were 12 or so regular meetings that lasted several hours each. The meetings were open to the public to attend, and the meeting minutes were thoroughly captured and uploaded to the school district website. During all of this, the committee was charged with assisting to develop a facilities plan for our school district, which was required by the Ohio School Facilities Commission. The earlier meetings were mostly about fact-finding and asking a whole ton of questions to each other, the superintendent, representatives from the state of Ohio, etc. After these 7 months, guided by a set of 4 principles that grew out of the group, including equity, high-quality education, financial responsibility, and teachers' professional development, the group narrowed in on 3 varied ways to organize the district and had 2 open forums at the high school to gather community input. Like any process, there were and are people concerned with the working proposals, as well as others in support of it. Eventually, the group presented their recommendations to the school board to consider. These included multiple buildings on a single campus, and at that time there was no location determined, and currently there's a space on the ridges that's being offered at no cost to the school district from Ohio University for that. Another option was grouping students by grade level, so one school for PK2, a school for 3-5, put the 6th to join 7th and 8th at the middle school, and to retain 9-12 at Athens High School. The third option was 2 K5 buildings, then a 6-8 and a 9-12. The committee didn't discuss or recommend specific elementary schools during this process. So during the formal proposal on March 16th of 2017, the committee presented their findings, rationale, a list of trade-offs and concerns about the options, an FAQ, and recommendations for moving forward, which included continual input from the community. Members of the community spoke at this meeting, and a statement was given by the Athens Teachers Association. The school board began their summer meetings discussing options for the high school, and after discontinuing the relationship with the first architectural firm, the school board began working with a group called Shore Architects. In my previous video, I shared what is currently under consideration at the high school. I'll do a separate video on the middle school when there is more concrete information to share, but in general, the board began considering some preliminary suggestions from the firm for that building. They included improving spaces to potentially add the 6th grade to the middle school, reprogramming and exploring ways to improve building access for safety, addressing traffic and parking due to its unique location, among a few other things. One term that emerged from these meetings is warm, safe, and dry. And this is one that I think you'll probably be hearing quite a bit in the next few months, referring to addressing the more basic needs of buildings that aren't necessarily going to be considered for a complete renovation. On July 27th, there were 3 groups from the community that presented to the school board in a meeting that lasted nearly 3 hours. The first was Athens Parents for an Equitable Education, led by Yiting Wong and Jason Heinrich. Their presentation focused on support for the options put forth by the steering committee. The second presentation was done by Noriko Kintaki. She is the president of the Appalachian Family Center for Autism and Disability Resources and Education, or AF-CADRE for short. She presented recommendations for special education needs, sharing the group's support for a single campus model. The final group was the Community-Centered Schools of Athens, led by Doug Getz. In this presentation, Mr. Getz laid out the group's rationale and support for an alternative set of options, and directed those in attendance to visit the group's webpage, look through their 7 proposals, and provide feedback from there. After all the groups finished, the school board asked each one questions specific to their presentations, then opened the floor for anyone who wanted to ask questions to the groups. It was tense at times, but you know, that sort of thing is to be expected when people are passionate about their beliefs. Moving forward from here, the school board is going to start working through all of these things, ultimately voting on what is believed to be in the best path forward and the best interest of our children. The board originally intended to file the facilities master plans back on April 1st in order to access this 32% of funding provided by the state for any projects. Through a request for more time to work, the state allowed an extension to September 30th. There are a lot of moving pieces to deal with before that date. So that's the last 18 months or so. If you just mosey on over to the school district webpage and go to the Facilities Master Planning link, you'll find all of this information, including steering committee minutes, presentation documents from every group, a district map, enrollment, a facilities report, and if you just can't get enough, there are about 300 pages worth of building assessments for you to look at. They're pretty eye-opening, but to say that they're a bit of a dry read is kind of an understatement. Thanks for listening through this. I hope it's helpful for you to get a bit of an understanding of what's currently going on. And I'm Sean Parsons, and I hope to earn your vote for Athens City School Board on November 7th.